110 degrees in Palm Springs. 46 inches of rain burying Hawaii. 640,000 acres of Nebraska gone. Burned to the ground. And tonight, 500,000 American families are sitting in the dark. Folks, this is not a bad weather week. This is the most extreme March ever recorded in this country. And it's hitting us from 3 directions at the exact same time. Look, I've been watching weather patterns for a long time. And I'll tell you what, I have never seen the European model and the American GFS model agree like this. Both of them. Same picture, same conclusion. What's coming is not a drill. So let's get into it. Starting out west, where the numbers are frankly hard to believe. Phoenix hit 106 degrees today. That record had been standing for nearly 40 years. Gone. Palm Springs, 110 degrees. Listen up, 110 in March. That is dangerous. Las Vegas, 98. Tucson, 102. Albuquerque, 90. Denver, folks, 87 degrees. In total, 14 states broke their all-time March temperature records in a single day. Now, I want you to really sit with that number. Not one state, not two. 14. And these temperatures aren't just above average. They're running 25 to 40 degrees above average. That's not a heat wave. That's a heat siege. And it has been locked over the western U.S. for 10 days straight. Here's what's driving it. And stay with me here because this part matters for everything that follows. There's a massive dome of high pressure parked right over the Great Basin. Think of it like a lid. That lid is trapping heat underneath it, baking the Southwest like an oven that won't turn off. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets serious. That same dome is squeezing cold Arctic air to the north, and all that cold air, all that energy, it's got to go somewhere, and it's heading south. Right now, a cold front is dropping down through the Great Lakes into the Ohio Valley, and where that cold air slams into the warm, humid air already sitting over the Midwest, folks, the atmosphere doesn't negotiate. It explodes. We are already seeing it happen. Tornadoes, EF1s and EF2s, have already ripped through Oklahoma and Mississippi. Hundreds of homes destroyed or damaged. Real families, real neighborhoods, gone in minutes. A woman in Tupelo told reporters she grabbed her dog and her husband and made it to the bathtub. When she came out, her front porch was sitting in her neighbor's yard across the street. That's what we're dealing with, folks. And the Storm Prediction Center isn't done ringing the bell. They have issued a level 3 enhanced risk, that's out of 5, for Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. Level 3 means widespread severe weather is expected, not possible, expected. And they may upgrade it higher before this is over. Indianapolis, Toledo, Dayton, Cincinnati, Fort Wayne, Springfield, Illinois. All of you are in the zone. Now, and I want you to hear this clearly, this outbreak is not ending Friday. Saturday brings another round. Same quarter, same states, 2 consecutive days of organized severe weather threat. And then, I mean it, look at what the models are showing for the week of March 10th. 7 days out, forecasters have already flagged Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas again. A 15% severe weather probability at day 7 doesn't sound like much, but trust me, that number is a big deal. Forecasters almost never highlight a threat 7 days ahead unless confidence is already running high. That is the alarm bell going off early, and we need to pay attention to it. But hold on, because what happens after that second outbreak may be the most jaw-dropping part of all this. Both models, European and American, are showing an Arctic blast crashing into the eastern United States. We're talking temperatures 20 to 40 degrees below normal after a week of record-breaking warmth. Virginia was sitting at 75 degrees this week. By next week, we could be looking at frost. Overnight freezing temperatures. A swing of 40 to 80 degrees within a single 7-day window in March. Look, if you are comfortable in shorts on Tuesday, you may genuinely be digging out your winter coat by next Monday. That is not an exaggeration. That is what both major forecast models are showing right now. Now let's talk about the flooding situation, because this is where a lot of people aren't paying enough attention. After Snowstorm Iona tore through the Midwest, all that snow is melting fast. Way too fast. And that snow melt is mixing with heavy rainfall across Michigan, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Rivers are rising, roads are flooding, and that so-called black ice that formed before dawn this morning, invisible on the pavement, no warning, just gone, has already caused dozens of accidents. Over 500,000 people across the Midwest and South are still without power as we speak. I want you to think about that for a second. 500,000 families. That's more people than live in the entire city of Atlanta. No lights, no AC, no refrigeration for medications, some of them in temperatures pushing into the 80s. Now we need to talk about Hawaii, because what is happening out there right now is almost unreal. A weather system called a Kona Low has parked itself directly over the Hawaiian Islands, and it is not moving. 46 inches of rain. Folks, let me put that in perspective. The entire city of Las Vegas gets about 4 inches of rain in a full year. Hawaii just got 10 years of Las Vegas rainfall dumped on it in a matter of days from one storm. Dams are overflowing. Landslides are swallowing roads. On Maui, a family of 4 was airlifted off their roof Tuesday morning. Flash flood warnings are active for every single island in the Hawaiian chain simultaneously. Honolulu, 80 degrees and pouring. Hilo on the Big Island, flood warning, water still rising. And back on the mainland, while we're focused on storms and heat, the wildfire situation in Nebraska is devastating. 640,000 acres burned, gone. That is a land area larger than the entire state of Rhode Island, driven by the same extreme heat and wind that the heat dome is pushing across the Great Plains. Ranchers in western Nebraska lost cattle, lost fences, lost decades of work in a single afternoon. And then you have a Northeast just sitting there in a completely different world. Boston, 44 degrees. Burlington, Vermont, 36 degrees with snow showers this morning. Portland, Maine, 40. Buffalo, 40, with light snow still possible tonight. And up in Fairbanks, Alaska, 7 degrees today. Minus 12 expected overnight. So on this one day, March 25th, 2026, the United States spans from 110 degrees to 7 degrees. A 103-degree gap between the hottest and coldest points in the same country on the same date. Folks, I don't say this lightly. This is not a regional weather story anymore. This is a continental emergency. 3 simultaneous disasters. Every corner of this nation affected. Now, real quick, before we get into the outlook, let's talk safety, because this is the part that actually matters most. If you are in a heat zone today, and you know who you are, do not go outside between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Drink water. Not coffee, not a soda, water. 2 to 4 cups every single hour if you're active outdoors. Now listen up. This one's important, especially for folks over 60 or with heart conditions. Heat stroke does not always feel like overheating. You might feel dizzy, your pulse races, but your skin stays dry. No sweating. That right there is a 911 call. Don't wait. Don't try to walk it off. Call immediately. Cool the neck, armpits, and inner thighs with a cold, damp cloth while you wait for help. That buys time. Public cooling centers are open across every major city in the Southwest. Use them. That's what they're there for. For everyone in the storm corridor, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, when a tornado warning hits your phone, you move. Not after this video. Not after this sentence. You move now. Lowest floor. Most interior room. Away from every window. Bathroom, hallway, closet, whatever you've got. And folks, I know it sounds strange, but if you have a bicycle helmet, put it on. Flying debris kills people. For the flooding areas, turn around, don't drown. I mean it. 6 inches of moving water can knock you off your feet. 2 feet of water will float your car. No road is worth your life. None of them. And if you're looking after an elderly parent or a neighbor who lives alone, check on them. Twice today, morning and evening. Pack a 7-day supply of medications. Write the dosages on a piece of paper. Keep it with the pills. Simple. If they use oxygen equipment or any powered medical device, call the utility company today and get them registered for priority restoration. All right, now let's look ahead, because what's coming in early April is genuinely worth watching. The ridge of high pressure that's been sitting out west, it's going to shift eastward in the first week of April. That means the warmth moves into the central and eastern U.S., and a cooler trough slides in behind it over the west coast. Now, when you've got warm air in the east and cooler air pushing in from the west, you know what that means. The clash zone, right over the middle of the country, lights up again. Des Moines, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, all of you. We're looking at a multi-day severe weather threat for the Southern Plains and Mississippi River Valley in early April. Meteorologists are calling this pattern a loaded gun setup. Warm moisture from the Gulf, cool air dropping from the west, a trigger waiting to fire. That combination has produced some of the worst tornado outbreaks in American history when all three ingredients line up. The second week of April, the 7th through the 15th, doesn't give us a break either. The storm track stays active. Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, all seeing elevated risk into mid-April. Look, folks, the atmosphere is not going to settle down and hand us a nice quiet spring. That is not what the data is showing. What we're seeing is a pattern that just keeps reloading, week after week, system after system. And I think it's worth stepping back and really taking in what March 25th, 2026 actually means. 14 states, one day. All-time March records shattered. That has never happened in the modern record, not once. 640,000 acres of fire, 46 inches of rain, 500,000 homes without power, and an Arctic blast waiting in the wings that could drop temperatures 40 to 80 degrees within 1 week. That's not weather. That's the atmosphere doing something we haven't seen before. A rancher in Nebraska losing 40 years of work overnight. A family in Hawaii airlifted off their roof. 500,000 people sitting in the dark, some of them elderly, some of them with no way to stay cool. These aren't numbers on a weather map. These are our neighbors, and they need us paying attention right now. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Just 3 things. Simple, and they could save a life. 1, get a battery-powered weather radio. When the power goes out, and in these conditions it will go out, your phone may not work. 2, know your nearest shelter before you need it. Look it up right now while you're watching this. Don't wait for the warning. 3, check on someone today who might not be checking the weather. An older neighbor, a parent, a friend alone. 1 phone call. 1 knock on the door. That's it. That might be everything. Because here's the truth, folks, and I mean this sincerely. The storm doesn't care what time you were planning dinner. It doesn't care about your commute. It doesn't care what's on TV. It is coming. The question is only whether you're ready when it gets there. Watch every warning. Heed every alert. And please, take the ones at day 7 just as seriously as the ones at day 1. Because right now, day 7 is telling us something big is building, and it deserves our full attention. We are going to keep tracking all of this. The heat dome, the tornado outbreak, Hawaii, the Arctic blast coming, every single day, every single update until this pattern finally breaks. Remember, 110 degrees in Palm Springs, 7 degrees in Fairbanks. Same country, same day. That 103-degree gap is the story of America right now, and every one of us is living somewhere inside it. Stay informed, stay prepared, and folks, stay safe out there, all of you.